It is Christmas time, so here on Streetwise for the month of December, we are really focusing on how to keep you and your loved ones safe this holiday season. We are always blessed to sit down with the Assistant Director for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Kim Vanatta. Thanks so much.
No, thank you for letting us have the opportunity to do this.
It's
great.
It really is, and this is, the third time we've sat down together, and you are just a wealth of information. You've seen and you've heard a lot. So I appreciate you again sharing and reiterating, because I know people probably continue to be like, we've heard it before. Why do you keep telling us? Kim, why do we keep saying it?
We're trying to get it in there, and we need to make it stick, and that's not happening. So we're going to keep preaching until people start listening.
For the position that you're in, do you ever get nervous this time of year?
Oh, yes, because this is a holiday season. People are having parties. We have family together. They're coming in from all sorts of places, different around the country, other states. So they're on the road, so excited to celebrate with their families. And it just scares me, because we talk about the numbers, we talk about fatalities, but they're not just numbers. These are people who aren't going to be at our table for Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. So it is a very scary time with so many people on the road.
So keep in mind, these are lives, these are loved ones. These could be your loved ones and people that you know. And would you say it's a shared responsibility when we get on the road between pedestrian and driver?
Oh, absolutely. And we have that issue. I don't think pedestrians realize how much they can be safe for themselves. Mm-hmm. Motorists should be paying attention, but you're talking about a motorist being in a 2-ton vehicle that's basically a weapon. So you have to watch, if you're a pedestrian, that motorist, and you are responsible for your own life. That vehicle versus that pedestrian, there's no chance for the pedestrian. So we really need to convince the pedestrians to do what they're supposed to do. You need to be walking at the crosswalks. You need to not be on the phone. You need to be paying attention to the motorist. And the same thing with motorists. You need to be paying attention to these pedestrians.
So that's where our focus is going to be today. So throughout the show, we're going to start with pedestrians, tips for you this Christmas holiday season, and then tips for drivers when you're behind the wheel. So a lot to talk about here on Streetwise today. We'll be right back.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Hi, I'm Bella, your local barista at Bongo Java. Come see us at the Omni Nashville.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Welcome back to Streetwise. Kim and I she is getting ready to share some important tips for pedestrians out there, because again, it's Christmas. We want to get out. We want to enjoy, even though the temperatures continue to drop and it's a little chilly out there, we still want to get out and stroll and maybe see those beautiful Christmas lights. But there's a lot we need to watch out for.
That's true. And we want to enjoy the lights. We want to enjoy everything at Christmas. It's so festive outside. So we don't want to stay in the house. I mean, you're talking about the Christmas lights. You can actually wear Christmas lights around your neck, and you can have those around your neck. People can see you, and that gives you some more reflective gear if you're walking across the street. So you're festive for your party. Plus, you can be seen.
I
by
did
the
actually
motorists.
just see that on social media the other day, for not only for you as a person, but for your pets out there as well as you're walking your dogs. You have lights and little booties for your dogs with lights on them now. There are so many things to keep you safe.
Exactly. We just need to take advantage of them.
So again, that is lighting it up. So that could be, a big a slogan for this holiday season, light it up. But by lighting it up, meaning light yourself up, making sure that you are visible to drivers out there. Because oftentimes I'll see people walking down with some dark colors, like black pants, dark colored shirts. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's a big issue too, because we have them crossing mid-block at times, and they need to be crossing at the crosswalks. Mid-block, you have no lights. So if you're wearing all dark clothing, then the motorist is not going to be able to see you. Motorist speed for the most part, and you're a pedestrian in all black clothes, you cannot be seen. The only thing I can say besides you should be walking at a crosswalk is if you don't have any reflective gear on, you can pick up your phone, which always has
Flashlight
attached to your hand. Everybody does. And that flashlight, you're right. So you can shine that flashlight, they can at least see you there.
That is perfect. I do want to ask, especially for like downtown areas of cities like Nashville, for the homeless population out there, are there places for them to go to get either reflective gear or a light?
We have this new program called Crosswalk Talk.
Okay.
So we're going out in all of the cities and talking to people, ask them what the issues are. We're talking to pedestrians. And that is something that came up, that we could give away reflective gear or some kind of pamphlets to the unhoused. And then we're asking them what the issues are. Like, if you're not crossing at a crosswalk, why not? Is there something we can do for you? Or is it you're not paying attention, or you just don't know enough information? So that's worked really well. We just started doing that.
Very nice. What else are you hearing during this conversation?
We're hearing that motorists go way too fast, and that is true. But we also have some, like sidewalks. There are places where we don't have sidewalks. So it's hard to walk on a sidewalk if there isn't one. And then there are many places, and I went someplace yesterday where there's not a crosswalk anywhere near. So I'm going to walk 50 yards down the road to a crosswalk and then cross the street and have to do the same thing coming back. So we do have some of those issues too.
So which brings us kind of to that next point of crossing with care.
Right.
When you're crossing out the crosswalks, or if there's not one, I mean, is it okay just to cross where you are if you're watching, both ways? I mean, is it okay?
I don't think it's okay. I was with people yesterday. They didn't. They crossed mid-block. I said, you are just the worst example. I am going to walk down and I'm going to walk across because that's what you're supposed to do. People crossing mid-block, I mean, it is very dangerous, but we talk about the motorists and the pedestrians. If they can make eye contact, that would be perfect, because then at least we know they see each other.
Well, and when you're at the crosswalks as well, so when you get to the crosswalk, you typically have the signal that says walk or don't walk. Make sure that you're adhering to that.
The thing is, that's true, but you have the walk, no walk, but we also have, you can turn right on red if you're a motorist, and that is the time where the pedestrian has the walk signal.
Okay.
So the motorist can turn right on red, but that's when the walker can go across. So that's a dangerous situation too. That's why I'm saying they need to pay attention to each other.
100%. I have to ask, and I don't know if you know the answer, who's at fault if something happens in that point? If you have that right to turn, but yet you still have that right to walk.
It's hard to determine that, because the police are going to come, and then there's really no way. The motorists can say, well, it was their fault, they should have been. And then the bottom line, though, is the motorists should give the pedestrian the right of way.
Okay.
That's what should happen. But again, talking about motorist versus pedestrian, the motorist is going to win, or pedestrian is going to lose, I should say.
So let's say that once again. Motorists should give the pedestrian the right of way.
Always.
Always. So keep that in mind as you're out there and we're driving, and don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of people have that it's all about me mentality. It's
Right.
I'm going to go. It's my turn. No, I have the right. no one wants to lose a loved one this time of year. No one wants to lose a loved one at any time of year.
Right.
But let's not, let's keep each other safe over this holiday season. So really take to heart things that Kim are saying on this. Okay, staying alert. How do we make sure that we're alert and aware, we're hearing, we're, taking things in visually?
We need to put the technology down when we're crossing the street. I see people on their cell phones listening to music. They have the earbuds in so they can't hear motorists coming. But then I have to look at the motorists too, because they're all on their phones and you talk about teens, they're texting their music, they're changing their music, they're looking down. And I'll give you, we're still in football season, almost to the end. But the time it takes to text or receive a text is driving the length of a football field. And that's a long time not to be looking at the road.
You're 100% right. That makes my stomach just kind of do a little flip right there. And because we're all guilty. And I'm not going to, I've done it. And again, I keep in mind, every time say I'm behind the wheel, I'm like, oh, nope, put it, it can wait. It can always wait.
My problem, and many others, I travel a lot. So I'm directionally challenged. So I have to have that GPS. And that GPS causes problems too, because I'm looking at that GPS sometimes and I shouldn't be. I should just get lost. If I'm behind the wheel of a car, I need to be paying attention to where I'm going.
It really just comes down to paying attention.
Yes.
So now we always say don't drink and drive. Don't drink and walk either.
That has become a big issue. And then we get payback from pedestrians. You're telling us we can't drive now, or you're telling us we can't walk. Well, you can get a ride share. That would be fine. You call for a ride share. And then we have all these parties right now. We need to make sure the host is taking a little bit of responsibility, serve non-alcoholic drinks, for example, or you get the designated driver, you get someone to take them home. I mean, again, designated driver, you're trying to make a plan, party with a plan. So you have that plan, you're not going to leave until you have somebody sober with you. And we're talking about impaired pedestrians. If there's a sober pedestrian, they can still walk with that group. It's just really hard right now.
And a number for you, 37% of fatal pedestrian accidents, the pedestrian has had blood alcohol or does have blood alcohol in his or her system.
Right, and think it's okay to walk. And I live in downtown Nashville, so I'm living on Broad, which is our honky-tonk capital of the world. So they are all drinking and walking. So somebody has to be responsible for these people as they're walking down the street impaired.
And again, just getting into this busy season of the rest of December, going into New Year's, and we'll have another show for you for January, for New Year's, to let you know what you shouldn't do for New Year's, to keep that in mind as well. One of the first noticeable effects of alcohol, and let's just go ahead and say this, if you don't know, for when your body becomes impaired, is your coordination and your motor skills. So that's your first indicators there that either you need to start drinking the water or, maybe should stay where you are.
Right.
What other things should we keep in mind?
Well, you're talking about drinking the water, and people are under the mistake, and they think that drinking water, the only thing that's going to help you slow down the impairment is to stop drinking, because it takes a long time for that to get out of your system. Also, the most common answer when someone gets pulled over for, have you been drinking? I've only had 2. It's always, I've had 2 beers or 2 drinks. But 1 drink is too many to get behind the wheel of a car.
I love when you school me on things. I love when you're like, no, this is it. That's not right.
Trying to school you.
No, I love that though, because these are things that we may lose sight of, or we may forget or not think of. So thank you so much for that. How else, what are other signs to kind of say to us or those that we're with that we may be drunk?
Well, you said before your coordination does change. Even your eyesight, you start seeing double a little bit, a little fuzzy. So again, one more time, 1 drink is 1 too many. But if you can feel it, and you should be able to feel it, you're not supposed to drink and drive or walk and drink either. So it's tough, and we want people to have fun. It's great time of year. We're celebrating. We want them to have fun safely. That's what we want.
Kim, how is your office keeping this in front of people this holiday season?
We'll actually, TSSAA, which is the Secondary School Athletic Association, and this is kids who are just now starting to drive. So we have signage everywhere. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. And we have booze it and lose it. So we're having the slogans, which it's just a slogan, but if you keep hearing it, it stays in your head. So the media is a big deal, and we're trying to spread this message everywhere with the media.
I'm glad that you are. Something else to keep in mind, watching out for other vehicles, like as you're walking. I know we're going down our bullet points here, and we've said a few things, said it once, twice, 3 times, but can't say it enough. Why should we, again, continue to watch out for vehicles?
Always. And then we didn't mention scooters, but scooters are considered pedestrians. So I said, don't walk. Scooter considered a pedestrian. You can't get on the scooter either. And that's even worse because it's not considered a motor vehicle, but you're still on a scooter and you're a pedestrian. And if you're impaired on that scooter, one more chance to get in trouble. And those against cars have happened too downtown.
What about golf cart communities? Because you have a number of areas where people drive their golf carts, even around the holiday season. I mean, going from house to house. We need to keep an eye out for those. I did just hear a tragic story, I think it was out of North or South Carolina, about a bride. It was her wedding night. The golf cart that her and her husband were in, it was hit by a drunk driver and she was killed. So, really watching out, I guess, on, all areas. There
are so many things. You talked about the golf carts. We also, and this is something we don't pay attention to either, but wheelchairs are also on the road. So that's another, and they may not be able to react. So we need to pay attention to that. I mean, we have motorcycles. That's another issue. So all of this combined, recipe for disaster if everybody is not taking care of everybody else.
And one last time, if you have sidewalks, use them.
Absolutely. No question. If I do want to say though, if there's not a sidewalk there and you're a pedestrian, you need to walk facing traffic versus the other way.
Okay.
Always. That's required by law.
So walk facing traffic, but when you're, and just kind of switching gears a little bit, riding a bicycle, you go with traffic. Okay. I know we have a lot of cyclists out there, and again, with traffic, walking away from traffic. Okay, pedestrians, we've hit on you, but now what about the drivers out there? What are some things that motorists need to keep in mind for this holiday season? We will touch on that for this Christmas when we come back.
Racing season is underway, and the Lionel Racing Retail Store at Opry Mills, Nashville has a die-cast car for every fan, from classic cup cars to recent checkered flag winners. So make plans to make your next pit stop at the Lionel store in Opry Mills, Nashville, and drive away with a collectible die-cast car from your favorite driver. Lionel Racing is the official die-cast car of NASCAR, the choice of champions. Visit LionelNashville.com or call 615-455-9399.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
Welcome back to Streetwise. We are sitting down with the Kim Vanatta. We are always happy to sit down with her. Thank you so much for what you're providing us. And we really are just doing this to keep everyone safe this holiday season. And drivers, you know what? You are the ones that are behind the wheel of a multi-ton piece of equipment. And when it comes to, we keep saying vehicle versus pedestrian, that vehicle is going to win it's not going to turn out very well for the pedestrian because, again, that vehicle, first off, you're driving at any rate of speed. You need to make sure that you are fully aware and watching for pedestrians and not drinking and driving this holiday season.
Now, if I can't, I want to stamp that like on my forehead. Don't drink and drive because people are not getting it. We're still having people that are driving, they're not sober, they're getting behind the wheel, they can't pay attention because they aren't sober, and then we have the pedestrians that they're trying to look for the pedestrians and maybe don't see them, and so we have the pedestrians that need to take advantage of what they need to be doing, but the motorists, even if they're not impaired, they still are speeding, or maybe they don't have their seatbelt on, distracted. There are so many things. When I talk to people about the safe driving, I want to say that driving is something, that's the only thing you do. You get behind the wheel of a car, goal, point A to point B safely. And that's what we're trying to do. So we need to get rid of the electronics. We need to not drink and drive. We need to buckle our seatbelts. We need to pay attention to the road.
Not eat and drive. I've seen a lot of eating and driving on the roadways.
Actually, I had a friend tell me that she watched a Netflix movie while she was driving. I said, how do you even do that? And
Why
she
would
said,
you even want to do that?
She said it was a long drive, and so I...
Audiobooks. Let me get Audible, and yeah, audiobooks have that playing. Have your phone down and listening to that. Wow. But that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, it surprised me that it was my friend that did it.
Did you say, do you know who I am?
Exactly.
Have I taught you nothing?
Traffic safety. Do you understand?
I am that person. And so as we're keeping in mind that as a driver, the walkers that you see out there, it's getting dark early.
Yes.
It's 4:45 and the sun is down and dark skies. So that plays a role this time of year too.
Yes, that's why we talk about the reflective gear that you need to be wearing. And I mean, it's not difficult to find something reflective, but we talk about the phones and they have the light on them. But again, I'm going to stress crossing at crosswalks and with the lights, walking on sidewalks, and very much paying attention to motorists.
What about when, as a motorist approaching, your intersections? How careful do we need to be as a motorist?
First thing I need to say is slow down. Even if you're in an urban area or a downtown area and you're driving and there are people all over the place, vehicles and pedestrians are all over the place. So you slow down. You don't feel entitled that I'm the one that gets to go. Look around in an intersection and just let other people go. Just let them do it. It's not going to save you any time, and it's certainly going, if you talk about the loved one that won't be at the dinner at Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's, and that's not worth me having to go first.
I always feel so guilty after we finish our conversation and our segments because I'm just like, when have I been that person? Nope, it's I get to go. And so I cannot thank you enough for continuing to share this with all of us, because you shared something. If you kind of skipped our pedestrian segment of this and you just jumped right to the driver segment, at a intersection at your crosswalk, the pedestrian always has the right of way.
And even if they don't have the light, give them the right of way. Just be patient. People are in a hurry to do everything. In driving, you should never be in a hurry to do. Leave earlier if you think you're going to be late somewhere.
I feel like you should, when you're out downtown, you should tap on people's shoulder and say, do you know? You should be like, do you know? Let me remind you.
Do you ever pamphlets.
Yes. Do you ever want to do that?
Actually, I do. And I have a daughter who thinks she's now traffic safety, so she will be with me or she'll call me and say, look, these people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not crossing at crosswalks. I said, I agree with you, but let's be careful about approaching people.
Do you ever get stressed this time of year? Because again, you work so hard to get these messages out.
I do get stressed. I try not to be stressed because if I can keep spreading the message, and I really appreciate you having me here, and that's all I can do. It hurts me when I see that someone has been killed, especially when all crashes are preventable. All of them are, if we pay attention and do what we're supposed to do. So the behavior is what we really try to stress. We want people to the right behaviors, and that will really help us. I will say this year, I'm gonna knock on wood, right now our fatalities are down where they were last year. So we want to keep that trend going so people are at least paying attention, and we're gonna, like I said, we want to stay on this downward trend.
And we talk about the holiday travel, a lot more people on the road.
Right.
Can we share a little bit, or can you talk any on when people are getting off ramps, like going onto the interstate? Because a lot of times, coming off of that off ramp, getting onto the interstate, I don't see people giving vehicles room to get over, to get onto and continue to flow with traffic.
That is such a big issue because I don't want to say that we're rude, but I mean, we should let people in. That if you'll let one person in, we can go that zipper, and that's what it should be. Okay. But people are so concerned with themselves, they'll get right up on the bumper of the car in front of them, won't let these people over, and then there are crashes because of that. And speed, I will continue to mention that speed is an issue. And traffic is unbelievable. And I live downtown, so I see the traffic that's unbelievable. It's hard for me to drive because it gets very frustrating as a motorist to, it's like I said, it can be rude. You need to pay attention to other people, and letting them in is just a nice thing to do.
And it is that time of year. It is, we're getting into the winter season. We've already had a snowfall in certain areas of Tennessee. At some point we're going to be dealing with freezing weather, which driving becomes even more hazardous.
Right. I mean, the rain, the snow, the sleet, and like dealing with all weather conditions is going to be an issue. But then we have construction everywhere, and the roads right now are just covered. I mean, we talk about the holidays and everything, but in Nashville, it's grown so quickly that traffic is unbelievable in Nashville right now. So we really need to pay attention.
Like Nashville, Clarksville, all of Middle Tennessee, all of Tennessee.
We
really,
have an influx of residents.
Because people love our state, because it is the best
Absolutely.
state, I think. For us, this is the absolute best state to be in. But again, the big point of this is really just watching out for each other, making sure that we all stay safe. We'll have some final thoughts from Kim when we come back, so don't go anywhere. Stick with us.
Hi, I'm McKenna at the Nashville Omni Hotel. Come see us at 5 and 10.
Step into the Lionel retail store at Opry Mills, Nashville, and you'll be captivated by all the magic of the 124-year history of Lionel trains. Whether you're already a train enthusiast or just getting started, Lionel will energize your love for trains. NASCAR fan? Come check out your local Lionel station to learn all there is to know about model trains and die-cast NASCAR collectibles. Visit LionelNashville.com or call 615-455-9399.
Welcome back. We cannot thank you enough for joining us for another Streetwise segment with the Assistant Director of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Kim Vanatta. Thank you always. Thank you so much for everything that you put out, all the work that you guys do at your office. Any final thoughts before we leave everyone for this Christmas holiday Streetwise episode?
How much time do you have?
I will give you all the time you want.
I really appreciate you having me here because it does give us an opportunity to spread this message. I'll give you a few final thoughts.
Please.
Distracted, both pedestrians and motorists, you need to pay attention to what you're doing behind a wheel. Pedestrians need to pay attention to the lights and crossing at the intersections, and we need to pay attention to each other. I mean, always we need to pay attention to each other. We want to protect each other, and let's everybody be safe.
And it's not just drinking and driving too. Like, you have people taking prescription medications.
Right.
Really be aware of what you're taking, what you're putting into your body. If you have anything, inhibiting from you being in full control of yourself as you're walking or driving a vehicle.
Right now we have older people that are driving and they are on prescription medication and don't realize how much that does affect them. So
what should we do as a pedestrian or motorist if we do see something that we're like, oh, that car's not driving responsibly, or maybe, I don't know, what should we do if we see something that we think might be wrong?
If you're driving, you pull over first and then you do call the police and tell them exactly where they were and let the police come and deal with it, because they are going to cause a problem. Even on the interstate, just make sure that we're paying attention to each other, but do call law enforcement because we want to make sure everybody's safe.
And that we're all sitting down for Christmas dinner with
Right.
our friends, our family, our loved ones, making sure that we are all still here. Again, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Streetwise. Kim, we always enjoy you being here, so thank you so very much for that. You can not only check out this particular Streetwise program, but all of our other programs that we've done with Streetwise on our Main Street Media TV app. Just download it right to your phone. It's right at your fingertips. You can also find this on Facebook, on X, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. I mean, those are a lot of places. Check out this Streetwise and share it with your friends, your family, your circle, and make sure they know what they should do and not do this holiday season. As always, thanks for being here. We'll see you back here next month.